It's recording time, baby.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Film Feast.
I hate it too.
Why do you hate that so much? It's my favorite part of the show.
That?
Yeah, I love doing that
It's
intro.
just loud.
But it's so fun. Oh.
Let's go, baby!
Discouragement.
I like picking on
Do you guys actually not like opening the episode that way?
I don't care.
Okay, good, because it's brings
Tazi,
me joy.
Tazi's like, I absolutely despise this. If I could take it out, I would. I'm thinking about killing Justin every time I hear it, but that's besides the point.
So how do you, because I haven't listened to any of them.
To our own podcast? You haven't listened to it?
I listened to one.
That was it?
I listen to every episode, I think, 3 times, because I have to edit it. I go through, listen to it once, then I have to listen to it again after I've finished editing it, and then I release it, and then I usually listen to it one more time after it's released.
We should tell them how they can listen to it now.
Oh yeah, if you guys, we are now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Look at that. Right now, the majority of our downloads are from Apple. We've had 25 downloads.
Oh, really?
25,
actually?
Yeah, 25 downloads.
Wow.
So we're doing
You
something.
need to follow us.
I feel bad for those 25 people.
25!
Yeah.
Probably
Wrong.
Josiah and Nate.
Yeah, I'm curious now. Actually, I can look up, see if we have any new numbers. I mean, we haven't released an episode 2 weeks as of recording this. I'm editing the episode
Almost took off my head
for
there.
this.
I did not, dude. I do stuff.
That was very close. No, you don't. What kind of stuff do you? I kind of roll out of my bed every morning, drive my car around. Yeah, pretty much a stunt driver at that point.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm begging you, put your little on baby. I'm begging you, put your name on baby. I'm begging.
So we just cut to that. Guys, we're going to answer some listener questions today. Are you ready?
We don't have anybody listening, though.
Yeah. I asked the person that
3 listeners.
I asked the 2 people that I know actually listen to our podcast. For
Well, we're
quite-
certain.
Ted
we're
Bundy
certain.
was still alive. I feel like he'd listen to this.
That is.
Oh, dude.
I just saw the trailer for Elijah Wood in a
Elijah
Ted Bundy
Wood's
movie.
Ted Bundy movie.
Wait, he's
Yeah.
Ted
Oh,
Bundy.
to be honest,
He's not Ted Bundy. He's
No,
the
he
journalist
plays the
like in Jonah
Yeah.
Hill did with True Story.
I'm gonna be honest, I was really disappointed that Ted Bundy wasn't still Zac Efron. I thought that's why they weren't showing Ted Bundy's face so much. They're hiding Ted Bundy. And then when he started talking, I'm like, no way, they recast Zac Efron as Ted Bundy. Nope. It's just another dude who slightly sounds the same as Zac Efron.
I think it's gonna be really bad.
Yeah.
Most movies are. Let's be honest.
This is accurate.
You get a few movies.
All right,
that are
now that
actually
we're all
good.
depressed, let's roll the mid-roll.
I think this is going to be a shorter episode today. Taz, you're also leaning in to Justin's frame.
Yeah,
You're doing what you told me not to. You're doing what you told me not to.
Sorry, my back hurts.
All right, so we're doing this for the entire podcast, where Tazi and I both just kind of cut out Justin from the.
It's okay.
Am I
I'm
in
the-
it now?
Everyone knows that I'm just
Yes,
the person
you're
who
still in it.
makes the
Am I in
podcast
his way,
roll,
though?
but I'm not the entertainment.
I guess
I
technically
just
not.
feel like leaning
There,
on the
now
Well,
you're
you're
not.
blocking my light. That's all. I'm just gonna move over slightly.
Here, can we just... I just need to lean over. My back hurts.
All right.
Is that better? Am I in the way still?
Well, there you definitely.
Can
are.
you guys talk to me?
I'm telling you, yes.
So today we're getting
Is this
listener
good?
questions. Today we're
that's
answering
fine.
listener questions. We got some fun ones here from our one and only listener Josiah Lawrence,
your
our
energy-
brother.
Does he
Yeah.
listen to every episode?
He does.
What
does.
a man!
We know there is one person
What up,
who listens to
Josiah?
every episode.
Yeah.
I recently got my girlfriend to start listening to them.
Who's she?
Abby, you
Oh,
know
okay.
who she
You
is.
just said your girlfriend.
Okay.
But why does the audience?
Why
need
does
to
the
know whose
audience need
girlfriend
to know?
is?
The name? I don't know. I just like names.
I like names.
Names
I
with,
kind of
like-
collect them.
When you... Yeah. when you like reference somebody, I'd prefer if the name was... Never mind,
Okay.
forget it.
Here's her full name and her social security number.
Bertha.
Do you actually know your girlfriend's social security number?
I don't know her social security number.
Oh, okay.
She tells me her PIN for a debit card, but I forget that every time.
Release the Kraken!
Yeah.
Outer Banks,
Yes.
North Carolina.
Yeah. But yeah, so we know that Josiah listens to it consistently. I have no idea if Nate listens to it consistently. I didn't even know he listened to the podcast.
Is this the platform?
The red circle is the
Proceed
platform.
talking. I'd like to look through this.
It's the platform that we post the
So
podcast
to
on.
anyone who is consistently listening, here's the thing: we don't have a platform currently to receive questions
Twitter.
on. So Brent,
When
that's
we
your- Brent,
have
that's your
a
department.
website,
Yes, but Brent should make.
you
a
can
Twitter
ask
as
questions
a
on
social-
Patreon if you're a Patreon member.
I realize I should be giving you clips to put.
I
on
asked you for
plugging
clips, and you never
Instagram
gave me any
and-
clips.
And yeah, I didn't. I should do that with what I have.
Do you plug the Patreon?
I do. I plug the Patreon in every mid-roll.
at that.
Okay, cool.
So now I can plug the Patreon, but I'm also going to plug our TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Because questions are good on Twitter, and then Instagram and TikTok are good for just driving traffic to us. So that's what we'll do. So guys, if you want to follow us, by the time this episode airs, from about a week from when we record it, we should have a Twitter, an Instagram, and a TikTok up and rolling.
Twitter freaking sucks, dude.
Yeah, but it's good, for, getting
questions.
They just suck.
Yeah, but we'll get those up, and we also have a Patreon, which on Twitter you can let us know because Tazi set that up. The lowest tier is $5. I still think that's too expensive. Let us know what you think.
It's not, you cheap bastards. We don't run ads.
You hear that, audience?
We do not run ads on YouTube or Spotify. Well,
But you
they don't
want
run
to
ads.
eventually.
No, we're not going to monetize on YouTube whatsoever.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just going to be solely. This is kind
If
of
we
like
could, well, this is true.
experiment
Our
for me.
goal
This
would
is a mid-roll. Right
our
now.
goal would be our goal would be to fully fund the podcast by Patreon, so that way we don't have to run ads.
And then
at all.
after we get like sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. This is the business
the end of
model.
the thought.
After we get no, I forgot what I was saying. Brain fart. I'm so tired.
This
I
is a
could
real
tell.
first for you. My goodness,
You're
Hold
not
on.
very energetic today.
you're acting like me.
I didn't sleep enough last night. What were we just talking? Oh,
Monetization.
monetization. After we get enough financing, sorry, this sucks. After we get, dude, I'm having like a stroke. After we get enough financing, we're going to solely go to a website, and then from there, it's going, like the Patreon's going to be on there because Patreon takes a cut. And so since we're solely doing it based on users or whatever, or listeners, then everything will be on there, like finances and all of that.
Yeah.
Our income,
Our
or
ultimate,
podcast income.
Yeah, our ultimate goal is basically we have our own website that is completely self-contained, where you
from
guys
Patreon too.
yeah, where you guys can support us, and we will see all
You
of
can
that
also
revenue.
watch the episodes or listen.
Yeah, that way we can actually release these episodes on time. We can get all of the equipment we need to actually record them properly. Because
With
right
three
now,
mics.
with 3 mics, we can actually pay an editor and an audio engineer. There's a lot of stuff that, like, we want to do a full-on radio show like this. That way, we can continue helping you guys by talking about our experiences in the film industry and
And it won't-
educating and talking about this stuff.
I think the thing that's going to be most beneficial is like following our careers,
Yeah.
because we are all in different experience levels, and I don't know, what's your goal? To do like just set dressing stuff, or what's like the plan here?
I don't know.
Oh, how about we do this? I have an idea. Let us know if you want to do an update on careers for the next episode.
Why? Because you actually have an update on your career?
I have many updates that like I'm comfortable talking with.
But within
But
a
I
week,
wanna be
some
transparent.
of them, within a week, some of those might even mature some more.
Exactly.
Knowing what's
Turn
going
into
on,
full adults.
knowing what's going on in his life, some of those might mature.
And let us know if you want to hear about it.
Well, I
Have
actually
you ever heard of Wayne Gretzky?
Wayne
What?
Gretzky.
I haven't. He has nothing to do with
Wayne
the situation.
Gretzky.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say, what?
I just recently heard about Wayne Gretzky, and that guy's kind of crazy.
He is.
That has nothing to do with it, like for real though. Like you're
No,
trying to be.
I know.
he's-
Tazi, there's sometimes I try to be humorous on this podcast, and it goes completely over your head.
Like when he said, "Ever heard of Wayne Gretzky?" You should have been like, "Yeah, I'm making a hockey puck movie." it's gonna be the best thing ever.
It's like the movie with Nick Cage where the first scene is a sequence of following the bullet. But it just follows a hockey puck and how it gets
Talking
made.
about war.
It's called
God of War.
I think something like that.
Lord of War.
Lord of War.
Yeah.
I think Nick Cage.
Or we make cool.
I started that movie, and after that
cool
sequence, I
runnings
turned it
too.
off.
You're like, alright, this is boring. No, I don't care.
I don't care about the story. I just want to see this.
Or we make Cool Runnings too, but it's about a Nigerian.
It's
hockey
about the.
Oh, sorry, don't mean you're gonna have to edit that out. What I meant to say was the benefit of this podcast. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
the
fine.
benefit of this podcast is to see our careers progress and like being totally transparent as we get more and more notoriety.
Yeah, as we grow.
Assassin's Creed,
I think
notoriety.
right now,
You get it.
I mean, right now, I think for the current audience of people, there are both people who are just curious about the film industry and how it works. So that's why us talking about our careers would be helpful. Or people that are currently in our situation who are just interested in seeing other people grow. As we get older and as our careers progress, this podcast and the library will become a tool for young filmmakers trying to get a start.
Yeah.
Just to hear
I'm not sure how great a tool it will be, but it's a tool.
But you'll hear
We're so
self-deprecating. But you'll hear
also, what helpful information do we ever have on this podcast?
I think I give some helpful information.
I think I'm editing last week's episode.
We have opinions. I don't think we have a whole lot of information that is helpful for people
I
to
disagree.
Yeah, I disagree as well.
Okay, you said you were editing the podcast
This
last week.
This podcast from last week has been very interesting because we're talking about budget, how we see budget, how people can see budget.
Where
we're
money
talking
goes
about where
and
money
is wasted.
goes. How we're talking about set experience and our experiences on a current set that we're working on. So there is a lot to be gained by just talking about experience. And then also something can be seen by us offering opinions, and then over the course of time those opinions evolving. Like, who knows? Maybe there's some hot takes that we have now that as we grow as artists will change and that will be beneficial.
Like my cinema change.
Yeah, like Tazi evolve. Old fish boy with legs Tazi.
Fish boy with legs,
I
baby.
can't. I
So
can't
the
wait to
fish
get
is
that.
vertical, right?
No. It's a regular fish.
It has
No.
legs here.
It's a regular fish. It still walks like it swims, so it still is going normal.
I don't
but
like
the legs
that,
are just
though.
going straight down.
I want it to be
so
like
it looks
this,
like an
it looks
like an L.
because it only can look up.
I want it to look like the fish.
No,
from
but then
SpongeBob.
it looks like an L
So
walking around.
No, it
like
doesn't
this.
bend.
You
No,
want it?
but I'm saying it would look really funny if this is the fish body and this is its legs and it's just walking
Yeah, so the
around
fish
like
is
that.
the fish is like it's
But when
swimming.
we do,
Two legs
you
on
would look- and that's it. No arms, no other legs, just two human legs.
Just two.
And they're like super muscular, like totally ripped, jacked
All right,
legs.
anybody out there know Photoshop? Please Photoshop that.
I think Justin's
I'm
gonna
gonna do
try
that
to
for the
find a picture
thumbnail.
that.
I'm gonna do that for the
Of the
thumbnail.
thing.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh lordy.
we're gonna move into our topic now. I've got a few questions here from
gonna take
our
this
listeners.
I'm gonna take my shirt off.
Do it. Oh my goodness!
Don't
please
make
put
me
your
have to
shirt
blur
back
your
on.
nipples out.
No, please.
Male nipples
do
are
this.
okay.
Move
No.
the nipples.
Don't
Take
do
here.
this. Don't do this.
Inside joke.
It's nasty.
Okay. Guys,
underneath
this is
the
our
boob.
first question segment, so we're gonna figure out what's going on. I'd love it if we just answer question, then we can discuss it and then move on.
Okay,
All right. First question is from
that was the buzzer. It's my turn.
First question is from our
That's
brother.
how it works.
All
All of these questions are from our brother.
All of these questions. Well, hey, this is from
Spoiler.
a different brother. This is from Nate, not Josiah.
But the two brothers have the
The
questions.
two brothers have the questions.
Oh,
All right.
You just reminded me.
Because
So-
currently we have anybody else listening to
I
the
have
show.
nowhere else to ask
But as soon
people
as
for
we
questions.
get more questions,
Like
Once
I
we get the
said,
Twitter up and
Bundy.
rolling,
Might.
we can get some more questions on there. But the first
hopefully we can answer them.
First
because
question: what's it like to work on a movie set? So this is from someone who
There-
doesn't. This is from a question from someone who doesn't work on movie sets and has no idea what it is like.
It is-
for most. It's stress. Oh,
Let him remember the.
oh,
Oh, sit down.
okay.
For the most part, it is boring because there is not a whole lot to do. and then there's moments of about 10 to maybe 20 minutes of super high stress, and then it goes back to boring, just sitting there and doing nothing. But then you feel bad if you sit down because you're like, I feel like I'm probably missing something by sitting down, or I'm not close enough to something, like, especially when you're the only on-set dresser and you're like, I'm gonna sit down, and then as soon as you sit down, they're like, hey, we need this thing moved, hey, we need this, and it's like, okay, so you basically kind of got to be ready at all times, and it's really annoying, but also can get very boring very quickly. Although in this one, it's a little bit better because the director doesn't do very many takes, so that's a little bit better, but
for us, not for them.
Yeah, no, probably not. For the editors, aren't gonna like that as much.
Sometimes this take sucks.
Sometimes even the actors.
Let's look at the other one.
Like he was like, "Hey, all right, we're good. Let's move on." And then Bertha, I think.
Well, that's gonna come out as Bertha, but.
Oh yeah, what was it? Bertha and
Gerald.
Gerald, yeah.
Did you do that yet?
I'm putting it in. I put it in to cover up the production or the company that we're working for.
From now on, if we ever need to mute a name, it's going to be last episode when I had Bertha and Gerald.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's the male and the female.
I've
got to figure out how to fix your asset.
Bertha was like
anything to it.
Bertha was like, oh, well, can we do it? And he was like, no, I think you're good. It looked good to me. She was like, and he was like, no, we're moving on. I was like, okay. All right, cool.
That's how low budget this movie is.
But the thing is, it's so stupid because we finish early sometimes because we go through the scenes so fast. But it's like, okay, we could take like an extra 30 minutes.
Was this the last day we worked? Was this the last day we worked?
No, I think it was the first day we were at the most recent location.
Okay, because it was the last day we worked. I was about to say we had
just one extra take.
It's not going to take 30 minutes.
No, but one extra take for each scene that they do.
Yeah,
so add it up.
30 minutes.
Add it up.
Oh, you're saying add up.
For like the 6 scenes they do.
Those
or 6 setups.
Shots are typically like, the longest one was like a minute long.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like...
It's because...
yeah, so...
I don't want to talk bad about
that's
that
my
guy,
opinion.
But that
I
guy,
sometimes...
That guy's...
I like interacting with the people on set, but I think I like working offset a little bit more.
Offset as
like just doing regular set dressing.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed that a little bit more.
I think the biggest thing to remember or to learn for people who don't work in the film industry is that it's a hurry up and wait industry. Like Brent said, it's not glamorous, it's boring. You do everything as fast as possible to set up the shot, and then you're done. Most of the work that is done throughout the whole day is by the director, DP, and actors. So those people are working constantly. But everyone else sets up the scene and then bugs off for a bit.
So I need to block this guy real quick.
You're good. As a PA, as someone who works mostly as a PA...
People suck, dude.
What did this man do to you? Who is this man?
You don't have to get into it.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
As someone who works mostly as a PA's main job after setup of a location is to lock down doors. So when the take is rolling, you're stopping people from walking in certain doors. And that's it. You just stand at a door, you're in lockup, and that's it. You're just locking up. And it's boring. You're not doing anything. And all of these roles are necessary. You do need all of these people. It's just...
No shit. You can see my story arsenal.
Blur that out.
All 170 of them?
You do need all of these people on set. You need your PAs, you need your set dressers, but you don't need them all the time. You just need them for those 20 minutes of insanity so that everything can be set up as fast as possible, but then once everything's set up, you're just sort of done. And I agree.
For that scene.
Yeah.
Or for that setup. And then when they move to a new setup, then you got to work again. But,
yeah.
So it depends on how fast they go through stuff or how much stuff needs to be moved on the setups, because sometimes you're at a location that doesn't need a whole lot to be moved, or you're at a location where you're in a restaurant and
doesn't have locations.
Well, locations doesn't help you with the moving the stuff around.
If it's inside, like we were in a lot of times, yeah.
Well, locations.
We were in a pizza parlor, and
they won't help the set dresser move stuff around.
like
That's
move
not their
tables
job.
like that did.
Yeah, that's not their
Yeah,
job.
that's exactly what their job.
In terms of the tables you don't use that are the
tables
restaurants, it's location's job to store those and make
Yeah,
sure
but before
that
you
they're
get
good.
there, but when you're moving stuff around for the camera,
he's referring.
locations will
but-
not help.
Oh.
you.
Yeah, he's not talking about
I thought
that.
you were saying
he's
before.
He's referring to
No, no,
before.
My bad.
No, before they'll make sure everything is moved around and stuff, and the PAs and locations will help you. But when you're actually on set, but like the restaurant, you got to move a lot more stuff around because they always want tables in the background. There's always a ton of stuff on the tables, and there's chairs at the tables. Whereas if you do a shot in the woods, you probably are doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Or,
You could be dressing a tree
Yeah.
with lights.
Yeah, that's something.
You could have to pick up 3 extra trees for
As
$1,000.
For
have
$1,000.
greens, but we're too low budget to have
a
greens.
Yeah, we don't have
department.
locations. We don't have. It's not called greens, is it? It's called something
It's the
else.
greens department.
Greens
I thought it
and
was-
on-set greens.
Yeah. Greens though is more interesting because like on
I thought it was.
on Lord of the
term was
Rings, the Edoras set, greens was mostly just like gardeners. They had
Yeah.
to carefully remove everything, and then they had to cultivate a greenhouse over the course of like 6 to 8 months while they had that set up, and then return all of it. So that would be fun. I do agree though that like my favorite job, if I'm not the director, is working in the office. I got an opportunity to work on WandaVision back in February, and I was in the office.
Mhm.
Dude, that was great because there was still that downtime when people didn't need anything.
Yeah.
But I was in an office sitting down, which meant that I could work on my scripts. I read a ton of scripts during that period of time when they didn't need me to do runs or order lunch or organize blueprints and concept art. If I wasn't doing any of that, I was educating myself. When I'm on set, I can't do that because I can't do that. I just got to sort of sit around and I can be on my phone, but that's about it.
Mhm.
And on bigger sets, sometimes being on your phone is even looked down upon if you're a PA.
Or sitting down.
Or sitting down, which is the dumbest thing ever. Like if you're in a lockup on a big set, people are like, "Why are you sitting down?" I'm in lockup. I'm not going to stand on my feet for 14 to 16 hours just to tell people not to go through a door when we're rolling.
Yeah.
Let me sit down. If you're a producer and for some reason or an AD and you're running your set, please brief all your PAs by telling them it is totally okay for them to sit down and lock up. Because it is a dumb expectation of the film industry.
I'll
that
tell you
we
right
hope to
now.
change.
If that's the case for me on set, I'm going to say, okay, you can fire me, but I'm sitting either way.
I've literally thought of the same thing.
You're bold.
That I would do that.
I'd make you Time Person of the Year for that.
Time
That's
person?
that's
the
brave.
magazine Time?
Yeah, Time Magazine.
Oh, I
Time
thought you had to be
Magazine.
sexy to be on that thing.
No,
No,
Joe
Person of
Biden
the
and
Year.
Kamala Harris were people of the year this
Yeah.
year.
Oh, God.
I think I can't remember when
It's not
Donald
getting
Trump won.
Trump
Caitlyn
won his
Jenner
first year.
won.
Trump
Trump
got
won
it
his
the first
first
year
year.
when he got elected.
So I
He was
guess when
person
you
of
get
the year.
elected, you just get Person of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Obama
Well, the-
probably got it the year he was elected as well.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
I remember that.
the
smile
nominees,
vividly.
the 4 nominees for this year were Donald
He's
Trump,
a cool guy, though.
Joe Biden and Harris, the Black Lives Matter movement, and coronavirus researchers or nurses or frontline workers.
The
It was frontline. It was
coronavirus
frontline.
itself.
The coronavirus.
The
itself.
coronavirus is
Person of the year. Corona.
And then that's when we figured out that Dwight Schrute was the editor of Time Magazine. And he's like, we need another plague.
So now, Tazi, talk about your.
So, yes, to both of your points, it's a hurry up and wait industry, for sure.
Just to piggyback off what you said, just to go off what Justin said, and just to reiterate what you guys said. Sorry.
I didn't interrupt you during your talk.
I was trying to make a joke. Continue. I wasn't.
Not funny.
Tazi, this is what it feels like to be interrupted.
Can I go now?
How does that make you feel?
Are you ready?
Y'all ready for this? Boop, 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 boop,
I'm always
boop,
ready.
boop, boop,
Let's
boop,
go.
boop, 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 boop.
So it's a hurry up and wait industry. And everybody is stressed.
Yep.
And so people are mad all the time
Yep.
because they're doing their job. I don't know, dude. It's just...
That is
was very
another-
articulate, Tazi.
No, that's
it's
a
true,
very
though.
important thing.
And it's another frustrating aspect of.
It's like, you're freaking making movies. We're also gonna go see Black Widow today.
But what
Sound like a little
what
kid
you
who's
were
like,
saying-
Daddy, we're going to see, or I was talking to his friends, like, we're going to go see Black Widow
My
today.
chest hair itches.
Yeah, that's because you
Probably because you were
shaved your
showing it.
chest.
You exposed it to air earlier when you took off your
Oh
shirt.
yeah, an arrow makes everything itch.
All right, I
Throw
wanna.
some grass in it.
Tazi was
Tazi, what were you
saying that
saying?
people were stressed.
Because everybody is stressed out, everybody is always on edge, which is so annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they schedule. I don't know why people schedule. I don't know the reasons behind the way that people are scheduling these shows, because they're stupid these days. Because they schedule them so weird, the days, like the shooting days, it's... Brent, you're my eye line, dude. So you need to look at me. Okay. Burp. No, this is weird.
All right, because they scheduled the day.
Because they schedule the days super weird. Everybody's stressed out. They schedule for, well, not this show, but normally they schedule for a 10-hour day. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
This is his experience on the shows he's worked on.
This is my truth. What I've learned is they schedule for 10-hour days and they typically go 12 hours. And typically what happens is they'll either add a shot or whatever because they think they have no time or they just don't have enough actual days to schedule out that way. But I feel like, well, I'm going to do it a lot differently. I'm going to schedule for 8-hour days and then only go 10 hours if we need to. But if not, then like I'll book everybody for 10 hours, if that makes sense. So you'll
So
always...
you just want to pay them less.
No, I'd be paying them more. If we only go 8 hours and I booked you for 10, you'll get the full 10.
Well, that's usually not how...
I'm not
payment
thinking about
works.
unions. Unions suck.
No, they're really good.
Not for me.
Well, here's a question.
If I
So-
pay you
so
more
that's-
than a union's going to pay you, does it matter if you're in a union or not?
Yeah, because you get a lot more benefits than just the pay for the union.
What other benefits?
Like, benefits from the union.
Pension, health insurance.
I'm not saying you can't be in the union. You have to... You can still do non-union work as a union member.
Yeah.
Right?
He's just saying he'll pay people. He won't be a union.
I just don't want to be a part of the union whatsoever.
What's the word? Signatory. He won't be. His company won't be a signatory, but he will pay union rates
Or higher than union rates.
or higher than union rates. But people on. I understand what Tazi is saying though. Is he's not trying to pay people less. He is valuing people's time. That they have lives outside of making these movies. A lot of the stress that is involved is.
Yeah, I was
due
talking
to
to one
the
of the...
amount of time that you were on set.
I was talking to one of the camera ops, and he was like, yeah, I've been doing this forever. And it's like, you have a family? He's like, yeah, it's very difficult or whatever. And it's like, I don't want that to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want people to enjoy working in the industry.
Yeah.
And it's everybody's so pissed off and stressed out all the time. And it's because of these little things that could easily be fixed and changed.
Another thing that makes people mad is inter-department communication. I've noticed a lot of people getting mad at each other are getting mad at some other department.
Yeah.
And instead of having just a little bit of grace, just a little bit of leeway that maybe they're looking at it from a different situation or they didn't understand. I'm a PA. I've gotten yelled at multiple times for not doing something that I was never told to do
On this show?
on this show.
Who's yelling
Other
at you and
shows,
for what?
too.
Mostly the director. He
But
yells
he's
at me,
like,
Yeah,
straight up.
This guy is...
but he.
Oh,
and-
I guess you
but-
you weren't there, but we told you about it. The thing in the food truck. Oh,
I almost yelled.
I wanted I wanted to talk bad to him so bad.
But let's not talk too much about that necessarily. Just say that, guys.
The issue with the industry is
The issue is, yeah, people just have no patience with each other. They have no grace with each other. I understand that sometimes there are bad employees that aren't going to do their job well.
Yeah, I'd fire him.
On the show we're currently on, almost everyone is competent, but people are just getting mad at each other because they had a thought in their head and the other person didn't psychically determine what was going on. And it was like, guys, just say, oh, I'm so sorry, we're not doing it that way. Can we do it like
To be honest,
this?
I think it's just two people. it's mainly the director and the DP are the ones who seem to be getting angry at people because for the most part, I
but
feel
that
like
trickles down when you were supposed to be.
Yes,
no, I'm
like,
agreeing with
okay.
you. When you're supposed to be the example, this is the issue: is you have execs or producers even that get pissed off or whatever. Like on the last show I was on, there was a producer got mad at somebody. I don't even know what he did, but he was like talking about him the whole. Sorry, he was talking crap about him the whole day, and. He ended up at the end of the day. I heard him talking to another producer. He's like, yeah, he's gone. He's not coming back tomorrow. Whatever. And I'm sure he did something very small, and they took it and made it really big.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That
They
happens
made a mountain
all
out
of
of
the
a
time.
molehill.
Yeah.
It's a sitting down thing. Like the reason there's
Why do people crave drama? Oh, we lost power.
Blackout. I don't know the lyrics.
Actually,
to
we didn't.
Blackout.
I'm still charging. Oh, that's from my.
That's from your
Laptop.
computer. I don't know the lyrics to Blackout, but we just blacked out.
hold on.
Check if it's. We're gonna check if it's our apartment or if it's
I didn't hear.
Just like me.
or here.
Here, I'll just.
Here, wait. I'm gonna
I'll
go
just
lean
stay
outside.
in frame.
Yeah. Just say a quick prayer, Tazi.
No, the brakes are still on.
I don't want to do that on camera. That's a private thing.
So guys, if you want to support us so that we have power, you can follow us at patreon.com/filmfeast. If you want to email us any questions, comments, or concerns, you can do that at info.filmfeast@gmail.com. You can also find us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at FilmFeast. If you have any
I
questions,
see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Got the button lightning, very, very frightening. Galileo, I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. She's just a poor boy from a poor family.
great mid-roll, guys. Welcome back, guys.
The power went out, and now we have returned.
This is a day later from when we recorded the power outage episode. It was traumatic.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, the power went out, and we were like, oh, dang it. And we went out and had fun the rest of the day.
Should I install this upgrade now or later? I'll do it later.
Do it later. So, we spent, right before the break yesterday, talking a lot about our experiences on set. A lot of those were the negative aspects of set life.
We have more of those today after being on set. But we will not get into those.
We will not get into the frustrations of what happened to us when we were working on set today. Instead, we're going to talk about the things that we enjoy about being on set
I hate my life.
and about film production. Tazi, you want to start first?
Sure. Gives you an opportunity to be Oh wait, not as a PA.
Yep.
Money.
It gives you money.
Networking.
Networking. John?
That's about all I take from it.
All right.
What about you?
Yeah, no, here's the thing. Working on this show specifically as a PA is completely unfulfilling.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm obviously doing it for a paycheck, and I'm networking, but I feel like I'm wasting time because I don't care about the movie. The movie is dumb, and
It's
some of the people that we work with are
garbage!
frustrating. But
Not good at all.
working as a PA on WandaVision was fulfilling. I felt it was awesome to be there. It was just as much hurry up and waiting around, but at the
Shout
end
out
of the
to
day,
Trillith. Hire Justin.
please, I would love it. Guardians 3.
Dan, if you're watching this,
Yeah.
you can make it happen.
If at Pony Smasher is still filming
That's
Shazam
DC.
2 by the time this goes out, I would love to go and work for you as your assistant.
At Pony Smasher, I would love to have your babies.
All right. But being on WandaVision was really fun. I got my handwriting is in WandaVision. I'm canon Darcy's handwriting.
I would love to compliment you at Pony Smasher for your authenticity of the foster care system. Really just the group home system. Thank you for that.
What a legendary director.
And put me in your next movie. Thanks, bye.
Brent, positives about being on set.
That's a TikTok clip right there, boys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm ordering Chipotle, and so I did not even
remember
listen
what we
to
talked about.
anything. Well, no,
That's
I
okay.
remember
You
what we
can
talked
wanna
about.
have
say whatever you
plot
want.
spoilers?
I just don't. No, I heard the pause.
Yep.
I will.
He will not be eating pot stickers.
I'm gonna say 8:10
8:10.
is when I go pick it up.
Oh.
We're trying to talk about the positives of working in the film industry. He's talking about.
There are none.
Okay, positives about working in the film industry. I was talking to a camera operator on First Wives Club when I was doing additional on-set dressing on that. And he brought up a good point, and I think it's true, is that to be honest, we're not asked a whole lot. Like, it's a kind of a stressful job, but it's
only
a
stressful because
pretty
people
easy.
make it stressful.
People can make it stressful,
Yeah,
but it's a
super
pretty easy job.
for sure.
And we are lucky to be in the industry and have gotten into the industry.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to be in the industry, and that the places, like, we get to go to some places that you probably would never get to go to,
Yeah, like
or
a
that you
pizza
never
parlor.
would have gone to. Like what?
Like a pizza parlor.
Yeah, okay. Depends on what show you work on. But, like, you get to go to some places that you either would never have been able to go to,
Yeah.
or that you would never have thought to go to until
you
go on this one.
Yeah.
Like this one, that Greek place in Roswell,
Yeah.
I want to go there.
I know.
Because that place looked pretty good. Oh,
Yeah.
you weren't there when we
Was not
filmed
there.
there. But
It's cute.
it's a
It's a nice
nice
little
looking place. And it's like authentic Greek food.
Gerald.
Said, I guess it will be bleeped out.
That'll be a Gerald. moment.
Gerald, yeah. He
We're gonna
said
keep
it was very
every
good
time
Greek.
we say some name, we're gonna keep referencing that it's gonna be somebody else.
No, it's always
His
Gerald and
It's
Bertha.
always Gerald and Bert.
No, I'm saying
Oh.
every time we say
We've said it so far.
somebody's
We
name,
say, "Oh, we're gonna have to."
oh,
blur
we're
that."
gonna have
Yeah,
to.
exactly. Yeah. Oops.
It's a good reminder.
But yeah, you just it's a pretty fun experience, and for the most part, the people that you work with, you maybe get like 10% of the time, maybe 5% of the time, you get someone who is annoying to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time that's bad is when it's someone you have to
Yeah,
interact
there
with
are
a whole
lot
lot.
of cool people in the industry.
Exactly.
But
and
when you
so
have
like exactly, like
running the show.
you get it. That's the point. Is when you have like a bad person who's like, say, just like a grip, or
Yeah.
it's one of the set dressers, or like
Well,
an
typically you
electric,
can
or someone who's in the
avoid
office.
those smaller
Exactly,
roles.
you can avoid them. But if it's like the director or the DP
Yeah,
or one of
somebody
the
above the line.
producers
Or an
or something
actor,
like
an
that, or an actor, yeah, then it gets a little more annoying because you have to interact with them a lot more.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like props or set deck, or say you're the director and you have a bad actress or actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough, but for the most part, 90% of the time, this is the first one where
There
I've
are
had
positives.
people that I'm like, I cannot stand you. Every other production I've worked on, everyone has been amazing. There have been a couple times where it's like, oh, you're being a little annoying right now, but for the most part, I'm like, I enjoy, like, you respect me and I respect you.
Yeah.
Where, like, the director on the last one, there were a couple times where I was like, oh, that seems like a questionable choice to make, but oh well, you're directing the movie, it's your choice,
Yeah.
go ahead. But he never was like, come over here and fix this right now.
Gosh.
Or like, what are you doing? Why aren't you fixing that? He'd be like, hey, set deck, or hey, Brent, can you come and fix this for me? And,
Yeah, I think
and
that,
you'd be very like respectable about it. Like they wouldn't be rude or anything like that. Or he'd ask the AD, and then the AD, I was about to say his name, but
Who talked to you?
yeah, he would be like, hey, set deck, Brent, can I get you on set? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. I'd just be like sitting over by my cart, and he'd be like, can I get you on set? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. He's like, you need to move this chair, and I'd be like, cool beans. And then they would they would lead me to it.
yeah.
Because, yeah. So
Like-
most people are very respectful. Most people are very chill. It also has to do with there are some people who come from California, but I think the Atlanta people have definitely influenced the industry here to make it a lot more of a chill environment. And not to say that there aren't chill people in California,
Yeah. Yeah.
but from what I have
There
heard...
are less chiller people.
Exactly. From what I've heard from some other set dressers is that when they first started here, it was a little more cliquey, and like the older people were like it's my way, and if you don't do my way, you're
It's
wrong.
my way, the highway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas now that the Atlanta people are starting to take over more, or starting to get more like lead positions, it's becoming a lot more like, okay, it's a little more chill.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue
And that's
into our
great.
next question.
Yes. The next question is, why did we choose Atlanta over LA?
I have long answer for this.
Okay.
But you
Well,
will.
we have the same reason. We chose it because there's a film program here, so we decided to move here. There wasn't a film program in California, and we also decided that it's cheaper to live in Atlanta than in California. It's closer to our family, so that helped.
Yeah.
And also
The cheaperness. Highly emphasize that it is almost impossible to live in LA working as a PA. It is very possible, if not, it's still stressful, but it's not impossible to
And
live
it's
in Atlanta.
profitable too.
You can still make money. In LA, you're spending every dime you have to try and be a PA, and you're gonna struggle there.
because it's a minimum. It's a little higher than minimum wage job, but it's not a
But
high
minimum
paying
wage
job.
there's like $15.
So
an
it
hour.
actually probably is about a minimum wage job.
Or
in
actually, I don't
California.
know.
It's
if
not
they've
quite
gone to
because
15 yet.
there were
think they're building
agencies
up to
paying
it.
their assistants $11 an hour, and there was a big push right before coronavirus hit to give them $15 an hour. And
That's
a bunch
why
of them jumped in. That's why coronavirus came. Yeah, but another thing that
to
I think
stop the push of assistants getting paid higher
It was
wages.
a capitalist scheme
another thing that Brent and I
to
have
stop
learned
unions.
is going back to what Brent was saying about how as more and more Atlanta people have taken over and LA people have not been in charge as much, things have gotten better, is a cultural thing. That LA as a culture is hustle culture, it's use your friends to get where you need to go, versus here I feel like it's much more about building healthy relationships because we like making movies and we want to keep making movies with people we like. And so far that has been wonderful. I'm not saying everyone from LA is like that. Like the woman I worked with on WandaVision is from LA, and she is one of the most wonderful person that I've met. She's awesome. So those were the main things. So to break it down into simple steps: money, way cheaper to live here. The Georgia Film Academy, which trained us and got us an internship, so it got us a foot in the door, and then culture. Tazi, your long answer.
It's $13 an hour for a lot of companies. Sorry, research. My answer is very simple. LA sucks.
I think you're a smart guy now.
LA
research.
sucks. Yes,
Yes, it
I
does.
do. LA is a terrible place to live. It might be cool to visit, but living there...
Quick note, Tazi lived in LA.
Yeah, he has experience.
Let me emphasize this. I didn't live in LA. I drove there just about every single day.
But you live close to. You lived in
2
California.
hours. Yeah.
Okay.
So I drove. That also might have
Do you
to
think
play
that
into
2-hour drive might have played into your grumpiness?
Probably. But
You're
once you
grumpy.
get
You're a
into
little
LA,
grumpy.
He lived
Gills
only,
from the
FYI,
drive.
he only lived 2 hours or 20 miles from the city, but the 405 is just like backed up real
well,
far.
there's always traffic. Doesn't matter what time it is. It could be freaking 2 a.m. in the morning. There's traffic on a Tuesday. Everybody's drinking. Everybody's on crack. All right. This is probably the most accurate part of it.
And someone said, he was driving on the highway at like 60, 70 miles an hour, and he could still smell weed just driving on the highway.
Yeah. Once they legalized weed, dude, like all of the air molecules just became weed.
It's just
molecules.
weed.
It's just
You
weed.
get secondhand high.
Dude, I've known people who have been very sensitive that say they get a little high when they go and visit. But traffic sucks. It's bad here, like in Atlanta. Atlanta's turning more and more into it. That's why I wanted to move out.
That's just the stupid design of 85-75 merging.
Well, it's because Atlanta was a railroad city, like all of its lifetime, right? And so they don't work off of a grid system, and it doesn't feel like LA does either, though, because you're all over the place. You're going this and this way. It's and they don't even finish building roads. Like they'll start a
Same with
project.
Atlanta.
Yeah, they'll start a project, and then that. Dude, I guarantee you, if I go home right now, I could drive to this specific place. Because I always
Keep
had to
talking.
drive there to get to this modeling agency that I was
Where are
modeling.
you going?
Keep talking, Tazi.
I'm talking. You keep interrupting me saying keep talking. The agency, I had to drive to this agency, right, that I was modeling at. And typically, you have to go through all of this traffic or whatever. And there's always these construction, like how you have down the road. I'm trying to make this like easy to explain for viewers.
There's just always construction.
There's
I understand that.
over there. That's been there
where
for
they're
like 4
they're
or 5 years.
Because it's a long
And
stretch
I
of-
moved 2 years ago,
Wait,
but I'm
where?
pretty sure it's still there in LA.
No. What construction on the road?
Well, down the road, it's like wavy and stuff. It's by that church where the cones are going that way.
You mean
Wait.
towards
Going that way.
Atlanta? Towards Atlanta.
Towards Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah, they just started doing that like last year.
No, I know. But LA has kind of the same thing like that.
Oh, but for 5 years.
But for like 5 years.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure if I go back,
It'll
they
still
will
be like
still
that.
be like that.
Which you moved away how long ago?
2 years ago. 3 years ago, because I was living in Auburn, working for Auburn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. They do video stuff?
Why is there an F on my key? There's like, look at that. That's an F. That's not big enough to be a key thing.
It didn't come off of...
Oh, maybe F1? Maybe it came off
No.
F1?
No, F1.
There's a little F on my... You probably can't see it. You can't see it. It's a tiny
That
little
is
F.
so
Weird, right? Anyway, we'll keep right there. It's souvenir.
All of your F keys have their numbers on them.
Yeah.
Did you
Weird.
steal my F key?
I don't even hit
No.
the F key.
You never touched the F key?
No, not really.
Maybe it's from your old laptop.
Anyway, why would it be on my new laptop?
Because it's our house where Justin's old laptop
Oh, his old
is.
laptop. Ah, I see. Anyway, there's a lot to it. The roads suck, so like the potholes are everywhere. So think of downtown Atlanta, just all of LA. Downtown Atlanta's roads garbage. You wonder where all this tax money goes.
You don't know
Doesn't
where it
go to
goes.
this road.
Who knows? It
For
goes
sure.
to the firefighters who fight the wildfires.
I actually saw this one group on TikTok that goes in like the middle of the night, and they have a truck, and they'll go and they'll just fill potholes in some like rural city.
Yeah.
But they'll go and they'll fill potholes up like the whole night, and they like bought like construction vests so they look legit. They're clearly not. Like they're like teenagers, and they're going and they're just filling potholes
Ron
because
Swanson
they're like
wanted-
somebody's got to do it,
Yeah.
which I think is hilarious. And I kind of want to do it too.
Another note of all of this,
Oh, there's
of
more
why
to
we
that.
chose Atlanta over LA, there is something to remember here. If you want to work in the creative field, currently, all of the creative positions, so writers, directors, producers, agents, managers, they almost all come out of LA. Which we
lot
are
of
trying to
actors as
change.
well.
And acting as well, yeah. We're trying to change that.
Doesn't make sense because
We-
if you're gonna film here, this is goes back to the financing thing where you put your money at.
Paying for all the flights and everything.
Paying
like
for
that,
all the
hotels.
flights, the hotels, just
Yeah.
travel expenses in general.
for non-local
Because I'm
work,
sure they
'cause you have to-
reimburse for food and
Oh,
gas
definitely.
and
Yeah.
stuff
if
like
you're
that.
non-local, which is a 30-mile radius from the production office,
Yeah.
You have to pay per diem. You usually get them a rental car. You get them housing.
Yeah.
Or you get them you get them a hotel or you get them housing per diem.
Yeah.
Which
Don't
like a
mess
friend of
my
mine
life up, dude. It's ridiculous.
it was like $3,000 a month, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So you could get like, but yeah, he was like a gang. That was for like a gang boss. But you get to spend a ton of money for hiring non-local people.
Yeah.
Which I still think is ridiculous that people would still be hiring so many non-locals. But then also there
It's
might not be enough.
slowly
There might
moving.
not be enough of the people at those higher positions who are experienced, or they don't know of them, so they still have to hire their other people too. Yeah. So because like the film industry
the
is
thing
still
is
pretty
like-
decently recent in Atlanta. Kind
Yeah,
of.
in terms of overall
just
time, it's only been
very
here for like
slow.
12 years now, and it's a slow process.
It's a
of
very
change.
slow process.
Well, because all of those above the line positions are built upon relationships. So if everyone who knows anyone is in LA, currently you're seeing more people that are our age and people that we know and have met. Young people are coming to Atlanta and making it an art hub. It's going faster with music because it started earlier.
Well, yeah,
with the hip
music's
hop
been
scene,
around for-
yeah, music in Atlanta's been here
Tennessee,
longer. Yeah,
Tennessee, right above it.
yeah, but
which
that
helps.
process of moving
Yeah.
from moving from Tennessee to Atlanta took time, and it took time to build the music industry here.
Louisiana.
And as we
Kinda
grow
close.
up, it's going to keep building. And like if
And
people
COVID
like us
did
are
help a lot, like expedite a lot of it because
It was
Right.
harder to
Oh,
fly
I know what you're gonna
around.
not that it's
No,
harder
no,
to
no.
fly around. It's everything's online now. It's so much easier to meet with a writer in Atlanta because you don't have to fly them anymore. You don't have to pay for it anymore. There's no more
Oh,
inconvenience.
that's what you mean.
just
Like
get
a
on
producer
Zoom call.
from LA talking
Yeah,
with a writer
that's not
from
what I
Atlanta.
was going to say. What
Well,
I
that's
was
what I
gonna,
was gonna say.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. But what I was going to say was it's a lot easier to like they had time. Like, because typically when you're running a studio, you're always doing something. You're in one of the stages of development, right? You're either or production. You're in pre-production, post-production, production, whatever, right? During production, you're here in Atlanta, but post and pre-production, you're typically there. And so a lot of the times they didn't have time during production to look at land and stuff like that. There's a bunch of land over here, and it's very cheap to buy in comparison to LA for sure. And so during COVID, the people that weren't scared were able to, like the production people who weren't scared were able to come out here on their private jets and come and look at land. And so now that they've looked at land, everything's opening up again. They're starting to like use their money. They're probably going to start buying land over here. This is kind of what happened with Trilith and like the whole movement from Pinewood to Trilith was like right before COVID hit, right?
Yeah, it was about a
Pretty
year. It
close
was
to
about a
it.
year before that the process began, and it completed right before COVID. shut
I thought it
everything
was
down.
completed like it was like expedited because of COVID. Does that make sense? Like they had more time to allot to building out and doing that stuff.
Yes, it was expedited because of COVID. Because
That's what
when
I'm
I was on WandaVision, they were in the process of selling Pinewood Studios, which is a London-based company, was in the process of selling the studio to. I think
Dan Cathy and his
Dan Cathy of Chick-fil-A is the main buyer.
Well, there's a board too.
Yeah, there's a lot of investors of it. The main reason they're selling it was because the guy who ran Pinewood Studios Atlanta was getting frustrated with a few things. He wanted to do more he wanted to use the facilities to make stuff himself.
produce his own
and Pinewood, London doesn't do that. They're only a rental.
Yeah,
and
they
then
didn't want to expand.
They
he
rent out
wanted
their
to invest more in the community around the area, which Dan Cathy had already started doing.
Yeah, with
but
the
he couldn't
community.
integrate it with
They're like actual.
you couldn't integrate it with Pinewood because they were separate entities.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Pinewood London was also just neglecting it. We had gotten on WandaVision so big that we had 2 overflow parking lots that were all gravel, and with so many cars going over it, there were potholes every single day, and they weren't getting filled, and there was no plans to pave a road or pave a parking lot.
Yeah.
Now that once the deal went through and everything got expedited, the parking lot where I used to work, they've built the office. We were in trailers. They paved the parking lot. They've built 8 new stages, and they have expanded
I think they built 8 new stages.
Yeah, they built
Yeah.
built
They
built
build
4
out
more. They
eight
built
cuts,
4
yeah.
more at the front and 4 more at the back.
I've cussed a lot in this episode. I apologize in advance.
That's okay. It's gonna be fun editing this one. So, why did we start talking about this?
Because we're talking about LA.
LA and
And like
Atlanta.
the process of like it migrating.
Oh,
over
migrating
to
over.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So there is a lot coming to Atlanta. Marvel's here. Marvel's deal goes for another 9 years currently. So at least for the next 9 years, Marvel is making stuff here. As long as the tax incentives stay, which I don't see under either Republicans or Democrats.
Because
Those
Kemp
getting
hasn't
removed.
gotten rid of it. I doubt
Kemp,
Democrats.
it was a
Kemp won't.
Republican. It was a Republican base that pushed for it in the first place.
But I'm saying
So-
I don't think either party will get rid of them
Yeah.
because both.
Like say Stacey Abrams gets elected in the next election,
so
she's not
many
getting
jobs.
Stacey Abrams,
she's
who
the one who
lost to
ran
Ryan
against Brian
Kemp.
Kemp. They
thanks,
bring
dude.
so many jobs to the area that I don't think either
Yeah.
the governor, whoever will crash the economy if they get rid of the tax
Yeah.
incentives.
If you were to
'Cause that's
get-
what
I
happened.
don't know.
That's what happened to Michigan. They got rid of the incentives and it just the film industry left. And
It's one of the reasons why a lot of bigger studios don't want to build infrastructure here because there's no guarantees that those tax incentives will stay. So Marvel by far is like Disney is by far the company that's committed the most resources in terms of their deal with Trilith Studios.
But also, like, I feel like I'm not exactly sure the whole situation with Michigan and what happened there, but with like Tyler Perry and his studio, like I don't think he's gonna leave
He's
if
not leaving.
the tax incentives go, because he wants to help build up Atlanta and get more jobs.
That's why
to the
he
people
built.
of Atlanta.
I'm pretty sure he started building Tyler Perry Studios here before.
I'm not. I don't know for sure, but I know that he
Wait,
has.
I know all about this.
I know that he has like a really great studio. I worked on the Marvel show at Tyler Perry,
Yeah,
and
I
that
found
place
it in
was
2006.
that whole
He's been
his
around.
whole studio place is really, he's got a really nice area, and it's a
I
great
think this is
place.
important because it's competition. Like building up more production companies coming up is good. Seeing these studios, like if all of a sudden this infrastructure is no longer owned by the studios, that they only own infrastructure in LA, and there's places like Trilith that are starting to make content, and then like Tazi wants to start his own studio as well. If he can over the next 20 years build a studio, all of a sudden you've got a built-in competition that is good for everyone.
There's
that
a
is
bunch of
very
different
good for
studios around here that are.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have crappy ones like Swirl, but they're still like a studio with. Swirl has like 3 stages at least. It's a small studio, but it's still a studio, and there's
a bunch
lot
of
other
studios
studios.
out there.
Exactly, a lot of different studios.
But a lot of
building
them don't
infrastructure.
make their own content.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm
Well,
referring
no,
to. Is
that's-
both
oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
I'm
of course,
referring to
yeah.
both the infrastructure investment as well as there's a lot of locals, namely Tyler Perry and Dan Cathy at Trilith are the two currently that are producing content as well as providing infrastructure
Yeah.
for their
Here are some
projects.
other reasons why LA is garbage. You got like the most homeless people besides San Francisco.
Yeah, it's rough.
There. The legislation doesn't allow for you to really make any real maneuvers as far as like business goes in California. It's very difficult to do really anything capitalist, if that makes sense. And then you have everybody there is on that grind mentality. I think you were saying that.
Yeah.
And so everybody's always mean and mad about their lives because they don't.
Because they're not where they
Because
should,
care,
where they
it's
think they
because
should be.
they care about themselves. They're
That,
they're
and then
spending all their
also-
time pursuing their careers, never giving their time to other people.
Yeah, it's because they're pursuing their careers. They don't understand that other people are actual humans.
Yeah.
And then you have just a bunch of other things that living there itself is unhealthy and financially. I don't understand how people do it. Like without making $5,000 a month.
Shop,
Yeah,
doing
without
that,
making
like-
$5,000 a month, it is very difficult to live comfortably in LA.
Yeah.
And so you have all of those things, and the culmination of the elitist mentality that is LA,
Mm-hmm.
which I hate personally. Some people might be attracted to that or whatever. People in Atlanta are very nice for the most part. Not in Atlanta, on the outskirts of Atlanta. Let me clarify. In Atlanta, I've had a lot of bad experiences also. So if I were to recommend anybody to move for film, it would be on the outskirts of Atlanta. You'll have a happier life, and you could
Work
probably
in Atlanta, but don't live in Atlanta.
yeah, exactly. Live in the suburbs, on the outskirts. Don't live in a tower. Own some land. Raise a family. And
Farm.
No, not farm.
No, you should farm. Don't make movies.
Stay.
Farm. Because you know what this movie needs?
Stay.
Farmers.
Stay.
Farmers.
Acquire.
The moon landing was fake. Stay. Merv.
What?
Stay. Merv. We're looking.
Let us know if you want us to bring back the only segment we ever had.
Two
Oh,
guys.
three
Three
guys,
guys,
one
one
stick.
stick.
Yes.
Never
And
really
then
found
also,
footing.
if you have any other suggestions for other... Your arm is in the way. I'm looking at my camera.
I'm looking at this one.
Just-
which
Oh,
is
it's
right here.
it's pointing at me now.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Let us know if you have any other like segments you'd like us to do, and what those might be for you if you'd like.
If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, find us on Twitter at FilmFeast. Send your questions to us there. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/FilmFeast and go ahead and help us make this full time. If you want
We
to
will not monetize
email
on
us,
YouTube ever.
Yeah, if you want to email us anything, do that at info.filmfeast@gmail.com. Look for us on Instagram as well as
Twitter at this point.
Twitter and TikTok.
Stop
That was
touching
the
my
other one.
nips, dude.
We're also going to start putting some of these clips on TikTok just to talk about it and start some conversations. We really want to build the Film Feast community here in Atlanta and across the world because we
Let's feast
understand
together.
exactly. We understand that there's a lot of filmmakers in a lot of places that aren't LA or
Yeah.
Atlanta, and I think the encouraging thing to remember,
That's a
because we
piece of
talked a lot of
flooring.
negatives about the film industry, is ultimately we all still love making movies.
And the reason why we talk about the negatives is because we want to avoid them when we run our own production.
Exactly. We talk about them so that we can do better.
Yeah.
That when we get on set to
The
make a
goal
movie
isn't
ourselves,
just to complain. It's
Yeah.
to find a problem and then find a solution to
Yeah.
that problem.
ultimately, I hope that everyone who watches this or makes movies is making them because they like making movies, that they like telling stories.
Can you just stand a little this way just in case if he needs to cut back?
So, again, feel free to reach out, guys. It's been awesome, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Also, one last thing, and I will say the last thing, the last word. If there is a platform that you need, that you listen to, and we're not on that platform, let us know what that platform is, and we'll work to
Yeah.
get on that platform.
Yeah, because right now we're only on Apple, Spotify, and okay, that's disgusting. Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So yeah, let us know. All right, bye.
All right, goodbye.